Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing an American Girl doll restoration video. Normally I'd try to do Monster High content, but I thought I'd spread my wings and do some other dolls as well. I really enjoy American Girl dolls. I've collected them since I was younger, and I found Kaya here at a Goodwill, so I thought I would bring her back to her former glory. So here are some of the supplies I will be using. I have a magic eraser to help get some of the nail polish and marks off of her, a big bowl, a little bit of fabric softener to soak her hair in with the big bowl, inside the big bowl, baking soda. We also have some shampoo. I use this, but I'm super careful not to get it on her roots since it is a wig. And then we have some conditioner as well. I like using this because it helps the hair smell better. We also have a pillowcase for her stuffing and a flat iron for her hair as well. A spray bottle, and also a hairbrush, and then some nail polish acetone and cotton swabs. So here's the condition of the doll. All of her limbs are really tight and they move perfectly fine and stay. Her head is coming off a tiny bit. Her hair is very tangled and she has been well loved, and somebody gave her a little bit of a makeover. Her copyright is 2014 and she also has neck strings, so that's a good indicator that she's probably from the 2010s, which is a very hard thing to say. But she did have a hair tie that she had, and I cut it off and I put her hair in a little bun so I could use the magic eraser and try to get some of these spots off without her hair getting in the way. So my first step is to try to use the magic eraser and get off as much of the nail polish and the spots all over her body as I possibly can. I always try to use the magic eraser, especially on the face where there's a lot of that subtle paint, because sometimes it doesn't take off all of the paint underneath. Unfortunately, in this instance, it did take off all the lip paint underneath, and you will see how I remedied that later in the video, but the blush did stay. I am so thankful, and I didn't have to do anything to her eyebrows, which was also very great. She did have a couple spots on her face, some little white spots and a little dark spot. I was able to get the majority of them off, but she has a little white spot on her cheek. I'm not quite sure if you can see it in the video by my thumb, and I couldn't get that off, not even with acetone. So it's probably just a permanent stain, but it's such a small thing, I don't think anybody will notice. And then as you can see here, I could not get the rest of this lip paint off, or nail polish, so I had to go in with a cotton swab and I was using a floss pick end because I didn't have a toothpick, trying to scrape out as much of that red paint that I could out of her lips. Now I'm moving on to removing the nail polish off of her fingers and toes. I just used acetone on this because it picks it up much easier, and then as you can see on the other spots on her body, I did take the magic eraser and go all over her body, but I also used that floss pick end again to scrape the molding, so that way if any paint was stuck in her fingernails or toenails, it would come out. Next, I untie her neck strings, that way we can unstuff her to wash the stuffing and the body separately. I put all of her stuffing into a pillowcase, and I'm going to wash her body separately in the bathroom sink. I'm going to put the stuffing in a pillowcase in the washer on a delicate cycle with just a tiny bit of detergent, and then I'll dry it afterwards. As you can see here, I'm washing the body in my bathroom sink with just a little bit of detergent, and I make sure to rinse the body very well to make sure all the detergent's out of it. I also apologize for my tilting tripod camera. It's broken and I'm working with what I have. Next, I go back to my kitchen sink where I'm doing the rest of it, and I gently scrub her down, her limbs, with a little bit of Dawn dish soap and then a little bit of baking soda. And I repeat, I did this very, very gently because their bodies do scratch pretty easy. So I have a soft bristle toothbrush and I'm just gently washing away any of the dirt that was on there, and then I rinse her body one more time. I'm just drying her body with an old towel. I just dab her body clean, and then I let her body just sit out overnight so that way the cloth part dries. Next, I take a very soft washcloth or rag and a little bit of Dawn dish soap, and I wash her face. I did not use any baking soda on her face because I didn't want to scratch any of her face paint off. Next, we are moving on to the hair, and this can be a bit tricky. This doll actually broke my American Girl doll hairbrush because her hair was so tangled. I first started out wetting down the hair and brushing the ends and trying to get as much of the tangles out as I could before I let her hair soak in a little bit of fabric softener. But this did not work and it broke my brush, so I resorted to using the fabric softener way sooner. So I filled a bowl with warm water and some of the fabric softener and I stirred it around, and then I dipped the doll's hair in, making sure not to get the head fully submerged, because as I'm sure many of you have heard, American Girl dolls do wear wigs, and if you let them soak in water too long, their wig can come off. So right now I just have detached Kaya's head sitting outside of the bowl while her hair is inside of it, and I'm combing it out, dipping my comb inside of the water and making sure her hair stays very wet, because we don't want it to break any more than it already is. So I just take my time and comb the ends and work my way up. This took me probably like 45 minutes to get her hair detangled, but it was totally worth it in the end. Now, as we watch me painfully detangle Kaya's beautiful hair, a little fun fact about me is that she was my first 18-inch American Girl doll. I picked this one up because I could see that she really needed help and I wanted to restore her back to her former glory so she could have many more years. Down in the comments, please let me know if I'm saying her name correctly. I've heard many different pronunciations over the years, and I just want to know if I'm actually saying it correctly. So after I brushed her hair out as much as I could using the fabric softener, I went in, washed only the bottom of her hair, not the top where the wig is glued, with a little bit of that shampoo, and then I used some conditioner to help comb it out the rest of the way and get the rest of the detangles out. After detangling it with this method, I make sure to rinse out her hair very, very well to make sure there's no product left in her hair, because any sort of leftover product might make her hair very greasy. Now I make sure her hair is soaking wet, and I use my flat iron on a very, very low heat setting, and I comb it out, make sure it's smooth, and then I take the flat iron to her hair and flatten it out, like I said, making sure it's soaking wet. This helps the frizz go down and helps the hair lay better, especially after detangling it or trying to help maintain some of the frizz like older dolls get. Now, I let these dry overnight. Her hair is so much silkier and smooth, and you can actually run your fingers through it now, and the body is dried as well, and I also put her stuffing from her body inside the dryer. So now we are going to stuff her body. I got this method of washing their stuffing and their body from 1000 Splendid Dolls. I will link their video down in the description. I have restuffed the body before, but I never washed their stuffing. So this is me restuffing it, and all the tips I'm going to tell you here are the same tips that 1000 Splendid Dolls talked about. You really just want to shove all the stuffing as much as you possibly can into the butt and make sure you keep pushing more and more down. I used a wooden spoon to help me get more of the stuffing in, to really pack it in there. And I also made sure to put a little bit right by the shoulders, not a lot. You only need like 2 pieces of stuffing, one to go on each shoulder. That way, like, the doll doesn't feel like hollow there. Now it's time to put the head back on. This part's always a little bit hard for me. You really have to tighten the strings as much as you possibly can. I've seen people use zip ties. I believe that's what 1000 Splendid Dolls uses, but I just like to tighten the strings as much as I possibly can, and I feel like I get the head pretty sturdy on. I've never had any issues, but here's me. I'm just wetting her hair down and combing it out, and then I'm also going to be braiding it in her classic style. Now onto the lips. I forgot to press record when I was originally doing this, but I used model paint and I mixed a little bit of red and a little bit of green and some white, more red than green, and I made this natural lip tint color. I wanted it to look just like how the doll was manufactured. You do not need to seal this with any sort of Mod Podge or like spray like Mr. Super Clear. It does dry matte and it's meant to last and withstand. Of course, it's like any other doll face paint, so it can get scratched. Now don't let this box fool you, it is not Julie's pajamas, but this is a truly me outfit that I had gotten on a different doll that I had found at like TJ Maxx or something like that. It was a really lucky find, and I normally don't dress my dolls in it, so I thought it'd be perfect for Kaya here. So here I am dressing up Kaya. I'm so glad I went with this outfit. It's absolutely adorable on her. And here she is all finished. I'm so happy with the results. I'm so glad I was able to fix her up. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below your thoughts. Bye!